is William, hopefully your favorite videographer. We are here at the Dallas Area Rapid Transit Board meeting, the agency known as DART to Dallas, Texas residents. As a service to the Dallas community, we plan to cover DART board meetings from gavel to gavel. Public comments are required to keep DART board aware of issues close to the ridership that they may not get through other resources.
Good evening. It is now 6:33 p.m. and we will begin our Dallas Area Rapid Transit Board of Directors meeting. And the first item on our agenda tonight is the approval of the minutes from our May 10th meeting. Do we have any changes or adjustments in the minutes? Okay, the minutes will stand as written. The next item on the agenda is the CAC report, and we have Mr. Gallo here tonight. Thank you, sir.
Good evening. CAC had a very good meeting, and you just heard Ms. Robbie Douglas. She made a presentation to us last week on the DART table GEMS program and the other marketing and branding that's happening at DART. We also have a resolution about the City Place tunnel no cell service that is attached to our report, and we hope that you will consider it carefully and see what can be done. That's came out of our Safety and Security Subcommittee. And the challenges, we are still trying to see how we can get our minutes. Ever since I've been chair from the first of this year, we haven't had our minutes yet. And we are having several openings on the CAC, and I hope you'll consider and appoint some members so we can do a better job to serve you and bring out the operations. And the advisories, other than that, I want to tell you about an incident about 2 weeks ago. I was going from a Union Station to Parker on the Red Line, and at this station, a gentleman ran into and got on the train, and after we passed, went to City Place, and he started shouting, "Why is this green line going to City Place? I'm supposed to go to Buckner." And the reason was he ran in, he just saw the side sign which was green, so he didn't realize that it was actually a red line. So I think these little things have real consequences for the riders. I think coming here today, I asked the driver, he said, "Well, it is stuck there, I cannot do anything to the signs. Maybe if we can make it blank, at least that won't give the wrong impression as to what train it is." So with that, if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Okay, thank you for your report.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is public comments, and general public comments will be allowed at the beginning of each DART board meeting for a total of 30 minutes, and again at the end of the meeting when the 30-minute period does not accommodate all persons who have signed up to speak. Individuals who have addressed the board in the past 30 days will be recognized to speak during the public comment period at the end of the meeting. During the public comment period, board members may not interact with the speakers or other board members by asking questions or offering their own comments. Members of the public are reminded that their behavior during DART board meetings is governed by the DART Board Code of Conduct for citizens, news media, and visitors. Personal attacks, impertinent or slanderous remarks, and boisterous conduct will not be allowed. Each speaker will have 3 minutes to address the board. The green light on the podium will indicate when you can begin speaking. The yellow light indicates that you have 1 minute remaining, and the red light indicates that your time has expired. Our first speaker this evening is Elizabeth Dyer.
Thank you, Board. I had addressed homelessness and some of the volunteer services that I do. I can be found at betsydyer.com, as well as I would like to propose that homeless people are a people power, and that they should be utilized by DART, not harassed by DART. I know there has been instances, but I would like to suggest that they be used as tour guides. I know I traveled to New York and Washington, D.C. and Atlanta and used some of the mass transit there. It seems that DART has an inhospitality about it at times, not always. I find some drivers very friendly. I just know that this would be quite a revolution for DART to employ homeless people. I suggest like a $10 an hour maybe position. I don't know if that would be feasible for budgetary constraints as proposing with the federal funds or anything that you get. But there is a homeless crisis in Dallas, as we all know, tent city. And that's really all I wanted to propose tonight. Thank you.
Excuse me, Ms. Dyer. While you're here, will you speak with Mr. Grinnell about your situation, and he can visit with you about it?
Sure.
Thank you. The next speaker we have is Henry Brown.
Greetings to the chair, to the president, and to board members. I would like to start in the words of Oprah Winfrey in the movie Color Purple. All my life I had to fight. Being raised in Mississippi, one of 13 siblings, I know all too well about how to fight, how to try to, get along, and how to try to, try to find level ground and stuff amongst the siblings. But lately here it's been a different type of fight for me. As an older guy, I'm employed by DART. I've been driving buses for 15 years. And that's another type of fight that I'm dealing with now. It's a fight for an ADA reasonable accommodation. I was involved in a horrible accident, January 27, 2015, and it was a fatality amongst a pedestrian, and I lost my job as a result of that. I was fired, terminated by DART for 8 months, and through the trial board, I was able to get my job back, and they was able to have DART to restore all my benefits. And since I've been back at work, I tried the best I could to pick up where I left off as a bus operator. But I've been having difficulties. I've been having flashbacks and flare-ups and everything you can imagine being involved in a fatality. So I've been reaching out to the EEOC Department of DART for help. And for some reason, I keep running into walls. You're looking at a 15-year veteran. I gave all I had for DART. And now here I am needing help from DART. It appeared that it's not there for me. It's too much red tape involved, and it just make it almost impossible for me to get to where I need to be and be restored to that functioning level that I was at before the wreck took place. I lost a lot, so I'm basically throwing myself on the mercy of this board to kind of investigate my case. I'm currently employed now, but I'm on a long, lengthy, I think I've been off work now for a month and a half. Everything that I done going back through trial board have been exhausted. So I'm at wit's end trying to get reestablished. And the only thing I ask DART for is to put me in a position that I can function on and where I can continue to be able to support my family. And that's the least that I feel that this company can do for me.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
I appreciate you coming this evening. Mr. Thomas has assured me that he is looking into the situation. So if you could just be patient a little bit longer and someone will get back with you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. The next speaker we have tonight is William Dockery.
Honorable Board, I was scheduled to speak here tonight and thank DART for getting their information system working again on behalf of all the senior citizens. However, that is not the case tonight. You have robbed the people of this town of a once-in-a-lifetime full media event of the grand opening of the Dallas Resource Center for fatally ill individuals. We are the only media that would show it up to do full coverage on the grand opening, like we do here, gavel to gavel. My day started at bus 19 at 8:30, a total trip of 20 to 25 minutes. Upon arrival at Baylor Station, the driver failed to tell me or anyone that the downtown train's traffic is disrupted through West End. If informed, I could have stayed on that same bus and been at the West End in 7 to 10 minutes to reconnect to my trip to the Green or Orange Line. Again, the DART failed to inform me at the Baylor Station in this disruption service through its information system. I had to know of West End bus. I could have waited for the next bus 19 and finished my trip to the West End and avoided all the problem area totally. Instead of waiting the 8 or 10 minutes for the Green Line, arriving only to end up at a dead end with the doors open at Deep Ellum Station, locking customers into a series of errors to follow, lacking a message from the train driver to tell ridership to disembark, last letting the curious to come out onto the platform and finding a sole information supervisor at the far end of the platform and another supervisor overstuffing buses against the driver's complaint that she is full. 10 minutes later, we are let off away from the Pearl Station, lots of uniformed officers on which they assist. You have my printed complaint, and I hope it will go into the minutes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Docker. And if you have time, Mr. Newby can visit with you. You know Tim Newby?
Will do. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
I was scheduled to speak tonight to thank DART for getting their information message system working again on behalf of all the senior citizens. However, that is not the case tonight. You robbed the people of this town of a once-in-a-lifetime media event, the grand opening of the Dallas Resource Center for the fatally ill individuals. We were the only media that would present full coverage of the grand opening like we do here, gavel to gavel. My day starts with the bus 19 at 8:30, a total trip time of 20 to 25 minutes. Upon arrival at the Baylor Station, the driver failed to tell me or anyone downtown traffic is disrupted through West End. If informed, I could have stayed on the same bus and been at the West End in another 7 to 10 minutes to reconnect to my trip with the Green or Orange lines. Again, DART failed to inform me at the Baylor Station of the disruption in the downtown through its information system. Had I known, I could have waited for the next 19 bus and finished my trip to the West End, avoiding the problem area totally. Instead, I waited 8 to 10 minutes for the Green Line to arrive, only to be stopped dead again with its doors open at the Deep Ellum Station, lacking a message from the train driver to the ridership to disembark, thus letting the curious to come out on the platform to find a sole information supervisor at the end of the platform, another supervisor overstuffing the buses against the driver's complaints she is full. 10 minutes later, we are led off across the way from the Pearl station. Lots of uniformed officers, none of which assisted the 50 or more customers across the road safely to the DART platform in hopes of catching the next available train. Another groundbreaking error, failing to turn off the automated system announcing trains north and south bound that would never show. Failure again to use the information system of the possible only one train shuttling customers through the downtown area, or I was informed by supervisor personnel on the platform. Some 20 minutes later, one car train labeled the Orange Line came from the north into Pearl Station. If all I had wanted to use that one car, it would not have held all that wanted to go. Previous and confusing messages on the information system about the Orange Line, saying that the Orange Line would pick up at the West End. Thus, I doubt the labeling of the train arriving any more than to be a shuttle. Upon arriving at the West End, an orange-jacketed sick individual was able to take advantage of the situation, confusing customers further by telling them to disembark, that this was the end of the line. As I watched the train continue to the American Airlines Center, I could have connected with the Green Line or to my station. But where are the supervisors to prevent this person from doing this? They had stationed themselves at Griffin and Pacific train tracks, a full block away from the train. Why weren't they making sure that each customer knew exactly this train was going to or not going? My normal trip to the Inwood station is 20 to 25 minutes, but it is already 9:30 a.m. My advanced planning is lost. The event starts at 10 o'clock. Per information gathered, I still needed to catch a bus to the Union Station, there to wait and connect with the Green Line or maybe Orange Line. Both would have gotten me to Inwood and Lovefield Station, then in about 10 minutes walk away from destination. The day is lost. Measure of an entity on how it performs under stress, DART has failed. You could have owned this town, showing off your expertise, actually making a positive news story for yourself on how you persevered under disruption of service. How many more times are you going to fail to own this town? It's not a question, but a challenge.
The next speaker we have tonight is Ms. Brenda Blair.
Okay, hi. I wanted to give an accommodation, and I was looking for my notes. The DART police officer, I think the number is 486. And actually, I have met him about a couple of times, not in a negative way, but there is a DART patron that has a probably mental issue, and he handled and is familiar with that person, and maybe, you know, this familiarity caused him to know how to do this professionally. Well, I noticed that first time, and I'm a talkative person, so we started talking, and I noticed in our talking that he was not really bashing the situation. He was trying to plus it as a way of saying, I understand what I'm dealing with. You know how maybe police officers could maybe, you know, push you to the side and make you feel uneasy even more and exasperate the situation, but he did not. And I promised him, this was back in March, well, I recently saw him, and right before our meeting, and I promised him then, and that was a renewal to come to the meeting tonight. He was downtown at the West End, and therefore I wanted to hold up to my promise. Okay, so I hope I got his number correct. Now, it's not a negative, but the 553, I know y'all have heard all about the ramifications of that. I would like to maybe get some more information about the ins and outs of 553, and maybe I'm through. Okay, bye-bye.
Ms. Blair, thank you for coming down. We have Lieutenant Lindsay here so that you can tell him more about the police. And when you're done, Lieutenant, can you forward her to someone regarding the 553? Okay, and that would be Todd Plesko. Okay, thank you for coming, Ms. Blair. Okay, the next speaker we have tonight is Lauren Leach.
Good evening to everyone in City Dart corporate office. I introduce myself. My name is Lauren Leach. I'm born and raised in Dallas, Texas. I've been riding City Dart buses ever since grammar school when I was about the age of 3. My mother used to send me a letter to give to the bus drivers. Dart buses and drivers strongly always taking care of their responsibilities and being independent and driving, protecting the passengers on the bus. I mean, that was happening, you know, passengers and customers running out the bus, get out the bus, including the elderly also. But, you know, there was some injury that was going on. They was going to Parkland Hospital. But then I do thank the Dart bus drivers for the city of Dallas. It means a lot to me, because they helped me with transportation when I was going to work for the city of Dallas, park and recreation, and a whole lot of other occupation of real job that I had in my lifetime, but now I have a disability. That's very personal, confidential, and strict that I choose not to rather share with no one. I'm too personal, and I am a veteran of the United States Army. I do thank the DART and the police, the DART drivers and the police officers on Pearl Street. This happened a while back here on Pearl Street. That was an injury, a young man by the age of, he was an African-American young man. He was laying on the street on Pearl, and a minivan was sitting on top of his thigh, and I was on my cane. And he was yelling, and I didn't know where the yelling was coming from, but it was a male, so I was listening. I have a problem with hearing. But anyway, I went, as I, you know, got to the guy, as I could only go so fast, so I would just, you know, got there as soon as possible on Pearl Street. So in other words, the police officer of DART and the DART drivers here in Dallas on Pearl Street, they dragged the guy onto the sidewalk, I guess, and I stayed there and used my medical skills on that young man until the paramedics came, so he wouldn't collapse or anything like that or go into a shock convulsion. That I was using my medical skills that I always have been, that I've been taught since I was a kid to learn the lesson. But then I do thank Jeter for using me in mysterious ways that anything is possible. But I do thank you so very much that I stayed right there with that young man until help arrived.
Thank you,
by me
Mr.
talking
Leach.
to him.
I appreciate you coming tonight, okay?
Oh, yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
thank
You're welcome
you.
so much.
Okay, thank you. Okay, the next speaker this evening is Andre Atkins.
Hello, thank you for your time. I would just want to proceed to say that I want to kind of pick out back what he was talking about as far as the DART drivers. My biggest complaint is that you need to listen to the DART drivers, because they're out there, and that's one of my biggest complaints. They're out there, they know what's going on. Just like this gentleman was just saying, DART's been around for too long for the same problems to keep popping up. Just like Saturday, when the trains were having to reroute to catch a shuttle. That wasn't the first time that's happened. It's happened too many times. Now I'm not going to get my money refunded because of that, and I had to work, and I missed work because of that situation. No one told us and informed us about construction being done. It was told us at the last minute. It was a lot of confusion. Number one, like I said, the bus drivers know a lot. Unless they're going to be somebody going out there, whoever makes decisions, they need to listen to the bus drivers, because they're out there with the people and they know what's going on. Number two, my other biggest complaint is I've been told by several people that the supervisors don't have their license to drive public transportation. When a bus driver doesn't show up and I can give you examples. I have my phone, I have notes. 506, 3 times. The fourth time was last week, was a couple of weeks ago. It was only one 506 running the whole night because a driver didn't pull out a dispatch. The supervisors need to know how to drive those buses, because if somebody doesn't show up, they need to be able to drive those buses. And me as a taxpayer, and I'm already paying taxes for this service, and then I'm paying outside of that, and you're not going to refund me my money, that's a problem. Thank you.
Mr. Atkins, thank you for coming. Mr. Newby, can you visit with Mr. Atkins before he leaves, please? Okay, thank you. That completes our public comments for this evening. The next item we have on our agenda is item number 4, which came through the Budget and Finance Committee. Mr. Wageman.
Excuse me, Madam Chair, this item was considered by the Budget and Finance Committee today, was discussed and approved unanimously. It was further discussed and approved at the Committee of the Whole. I'm pleased to make a motion for approval authorizing the staff to move forward with this parameters resolution for the acquisition of electricity.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for item number 4. It is the same night item. All in favor, say aye. Anyone opposes? Okay, item number 4 passes unanimously. The next items we have, which are also same night items, items 5, 6, 7, and 8, came through the LGC committee, and Mr. Velasco.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Earlier today, through the DART Bus Service LGC Committee, these items were presented and passed unanimously, as well as the Committee of the Whole meeting today passed unanimously. At this time, I move for approval.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, and that's for items 5, 6, 7, and 8, right, Mr. Velasco?
That's correct, ma'am.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say no. Okay, those items pass unanimously. The next item on the agenda, as a matter of fact, items 9, 10, and 11 all came through the Rail Program Committee. Mr. Stover, can you take those, please?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Item number 9 is approval of to increase the contract funding for the design of the South Oak Cliff Blue Line. Item number 10 is to declare the sale of surplus property rights located at the southeast corner of State Highway 75 and Campbell Road in Richardson. And item number 11 is approval of an execution of a lease agreement with John Adler for DART's property located at 15350 Addison Road in Addison, Texas, and I move their approval.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for item number 9, 10, and 11. All in favor, say aye. Anyone opposes? Okay, those items pass unanimously. The next item is item number 12, as well as 13, which came through the Planning Committee. Ms. Gates. Okay, we'll take those separately, Ms. Gates? Okay, thank you.
Certainly, Madam Chair. Under agenda item 12, seeks the approval of the execution of the UT Southwestern Medical Center site-specific shuttle service agreement. This matter has been considered and unanimously approved at the Planning Committee as well as the Committee of the Whole, and I move its approval this evening.
We have a motion and a second for item number 12. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposes, say no. Okay, the item passes unanimously with the exception of Mr. Wageman, who is excused himself. Okay, item number 13. Ms. Gates.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Item 13 seeks approval for funding for continued operations of the DFW International Airport Circulator Service. This item as well was considered and approved unanimously at the Planning Committee as well as the Committee of the Whole, and I move its approval this evening.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for item number 13. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposes? Okay, item number 13 is approved unanimously. Next item, item number 14, came through the Budget and Finance Committee. Mr. Wageman.
This item was considered by the Budget and Finance Committee, also approved by the Committee of the Whole, both times unanimously. Pleased to make a motion for approval of financial standards for fiscal year 2017 budget and 20-year financial plan process.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for item number 14. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposes? One abstention from Mr. Cheney. So item number 14 is approved. Okay, item number 15 is for additional public comments. Did we have anyone else who would like to speak who has not signed up to speak? Okay. With there being no further business, it is now 7 o'clock and this meeting stands adjourned. Thank you.
Ms. William, hopefully your favorite videographer. We love comments. If you don't like the way Dart is handling things, lay it out for everyone to see. If you like or hate this video, tell us. If you'd like to see more videos like this one, tell us. We even love it when you call. Better yet, like or follow us on Facebook or subscribe to us on YouTube and get instant notices of all our videos the moment they are posted.